Hello, hello, we are live. Hi there, Jean here, Confidence Through Cabaret. Thank you so much for joining us whenever you are joining us and wherever you're joining us from. Catherine Niesel, welcome
Yes.
back. Week
Thank you
3 of
so much.
3 for our series. Thank you for being
Yes.
here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you,
If you're
thank you, thank you.
If you are just coming to this week 3, then all of the week 2 and the week 1 replays are also in the community, and they are also on the Confidence Through Cabaret YouTube channel under Coffee in the Community. So you'll be able to watch all 3 of them, and I will be putting them up to the Confidence Through Cabaret podcast as well. But I'll put I've waited so that we have all 3 in a row so that you can kind of binge it. And we all love a
Yes.
binge, yes. Catherine,
Yes.
do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who's just joining us in this series today, and
Yes.
then we'll get started. Tell us what
Thank
we're
you
in
so
store
much.
for.
Yes. So I'm Katrin Niesel, and I'm a healer and business coach for women who want to, build their soul-aligned business with focus, with clarity, with ease, so that they can work with their soul clients and have the impact and the financial independence they desire. And I specialize on releasing all sorts of success sabotaging habits and beliefs, which is basically one of the reasons or something that kept me from working with my soul clients for so long. And that's why I'm so passionate about it and so grateful that I get the chance to be here with you, Heather, and with all the lovely people in your group. Thank you so much. So, if you are joining us either live or, oops, I'm sorry for that, either live or in the replay, please say hi so I get to know you a little bit and, can connect with you. So, someone just told me that the link isn't working I shared with them.
Oh,
Oh no.
okay.
So can I just send them a link to the group, I guess? I'm
Yes,
sorry for the interruption.
that's
Hold on
fine.
for a moment. So I
Or,
should be in the group right now.
yeah,
Yes.
we're in the group right now. Oh, God, love technology, don't you?
Yeah. Let me
We're
see if
also
this
live on
one.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So live on YouTube. So if they go to the Confidence Through Cabaret YouTube channel, they'll be able to find us there as well.
Why is this not refreshing? This is if can you still see if you get requests to join the group, Heather? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry
I
for
will keep
that.
an eye on that. Yeah.
Okay. So let's hope this works out for her. Let me just say, try this. Okay. So back again. Okay, let me have some tea now. So today I'm so excited for today's topic because today's topic is really has been life-changing for me. I started my business in June 2019. I was a very successful international trainer for self-leadership, self-management, time and task management, project management. And, I worked in Japan, in the US, and in Germany. I did the trainings. I worked on the trainings. I worked with the code. I had coaches. So like everything was really going very well for me in the corporate world. And then I was like, I want to do my business because I want to integrate the spiritual aspects of my work way more into my daily life. So I was convinced that it was a no-brainer for me to, start my business and boom, have like secured 5-figure months within no time. I mean, opposite to you, Heather, I was an employee in a company. I think if I remember correctly, you were self-employed as a trainer.
Yeah, I have a training and coaching business, so I ran rollouts for corporations.
Yeah,
So very different because you go in, you meet them, but you're told by the stakeholders the organizational needs,
yeah,
and they pay the bills. and then I engage trainers and coaches and so on to fulfill the contract. So it's a very different thing, because I have a vested interest only because of the feedback and the results that the participants get. But it's a very different aspect to being an employee.
Yes. So I was like super convinced, that my business is going to take off and everything is going to be super groovy and smooth and all this. So to my surprise, didn't turn out like that. If yeah, I know. And I'm so grateful that I'm not the only one. I mean, I wish success for everybody, but I'm very grateful that I'm not the only one who had that experience.
Yeah.
So anyways, a year later, after going in circles, I realized what the reason was, and that is exactly what we are looking at today. So today will be super epic. And at the end of today's session, you will know exactly what it is right now that is holding you back from really experiencing, living, enjoying the success you deserve. Yeah, it's not about desire. You deserve it. Because what I believe, 100%, success is our birthright. So, and you can also understand, and you will also understand at the end of our session, is how you can actually release these blocks. We will already start releasing these blocks, so you really can start, having the success you desire. So now I'm going to look, which is just such a fulfilling experience. So, really important. When you have any questions, please drop them in the comments, either when you watch the live or the replay. I'm always happy. I always check back and see if any questions are there. So don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. And just ask the questions. Or if you feel more comfortable sending me a DM, if you have any questions, please, no worries, reach out to me. Very important, at the end of the session, we're gonna have a hypnosis session, a trance session. I'm a trained RTT hypnotist by Marissa Peer, if anybody is familiar with her method or has heard of her, a very powerful form of hypnosis. And so I really would like to emphasize on, please do not listen to this hypnosis while operating heavy machinery, or driving a car. You can watch this on a replay. It will be just as powerful. Okay? So let's get started with today's topic. I'm so excited. So just to make clear, for whom this life is really perfect, for whom this life is ideal, if you are ambitious, if you are an intuitive coach or a healer, if you have, these big dreams to have an impact on your client's life, but, if you're somewhat of an entrepreneur who has really been, trying to achieve success, but somehow it's not working out, you somehow have been going in circles, then this live, this training, this hypnosis session is perfect for you. And so let me know if you have any questions. When I mean tried everything, of course, which is so important to understand. When I say we've tried everything, we've booked the trainings, we follow the rules, we follow the videos, we do the workbooks, we do the worksheets, we do everything that is required of us, so we think. But, and this is really important to talk openly about it. Because I remember when I booked my very first training in June of 2000 or May of 2020, I was so overwhelmed by these hour-long videos, by all these worksheets I had to fill out, that at the end of the day, there was no energy left to actually build my community, which is one of the most important tasks. Or the hours I spent on building a website, no one ever looked at, because I didn't even really know my ideal the client and even less my clear message. So what happened was, and I mean, of course, I experienced that way before I booked my first training as well, but I was still in the belief I can manage that by myself because, I have been so successful in the corporate world. I know so much about project management and time and task management. I suddenly found myself procrastinating like no one's business. And, but not necessarily like it really took me some time to realize that I was procrastinating, which is really funny thinking about it. But, how they teach you that it's really important to also do the self-care, which it is, and I absolutely believe in it. But oftentimes what I realized that I did so much self-care, there was no time to do anything else, so to say. And or other things, of course. But one of the most important or not the most important, but one of the things, and please let me know in the comments, please type a 1 in the comments if you know this as well. I couldn't settle on a niche. Like, I was like, what is going on? I probably had 5 to 7 niches. Let me know, type a 1 in the comment, whether you watch the replay or the live, if you can resonate with that. I was such a successful, ambitious, focused woman. How is it not possible for me to pick a niche? Like, what is going on? This was really driving me crazy. And what I noticed is that I reprioritized consistently. I was a manager, a trainer for time and task management, and suddenly I wasn't able to stick to my to-do list anymore. I was like, what is going on with me, And of course, this was one of the reasons why I suddenly never finished anything anymore. And can you, Heather, I'm sorry, can you quickly check if my friend Undine has requested access?
She has, and I've let her in.
Okay. Okay, so I think now everything should be fine. Okay, I hope she's in. I hope she can see and hear me. Well, maybe Undine, if you are live with us, maybe quickly just leave a comment. So, Heather, you see the comments because I don't see our live, so you can just quickly let me know if she's on.
Yes, she's in.
Okay, thank you so much.
And welcome.
So, hi,
Undine. and welcome. We've kind of been doing an introduction to the context of, where you might be and why this might apply to you. So,
yes.
So yeah, you can go back and watch the first 5 minutes, but most of it's about you trying to get into the group. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for that.
It's funny. So it's how life works.
Yes, that's how it is. So anyways, what I also experienced during that time, especially when I signed up for these trainings, because I not only signed up for one training, again, leave a 2 in the comment if you've signed up for more than one training. I felt completely overwhelmed. I didn't know where to go first. And then, they give you slight different information, strategies, and like, whom am I supposed to believe? What is it that's gonna, make the difference? How do I actually reach like clients? Like, what do I have to do to work with clients? And I remember so clearly the desperation I felt, because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, what is it that what does it take to have success with something you're so passionate about, with something I love so much, with something I'm really good at? What does it take? And I also can remember the frustration I experienced because I've had so many years of experience in my field, and I'm pretty sure all of them are awesome healers and coaches, but I saw so many really young women. I mean, not that I'm old, but younger women than I am with way less experience than me succeed, and again, I'm super happy for them. I'm rooting for all successful women, heart-centered, successful women. Let's be clear about that. But I was like, it really frustrated me. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but I remember back then I felt shame. I felt shame not only because I was jealous of these women, but also I felt shame because I was like, well, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to succeed like no one's business. And I didn't. So, whenever I ran into someone who'd ask me, like, so how's business going? I was like, awesome. So not, I don't know if any one of you can relate, but that was my life back then. And I also really clearly remember the exhaustion, the exhaustion of not knowing what to do, the exhaustion of like putting having put so much work into it, but no outcome, no results, nothing I felt really good about, nothing that felt aligned with me. I remember that was also something that really clearly kind of um, was present within me, that I was like, yeah, I do the work, but is it really me? Is it like, does that really represent me? And that, now I know it, back then I didn't, really exhausted me. So I was tired all the time. So let me know in the comments if any of these, experiences resonate with you as well. And I also, and this is something also my clients experience, or before they start working with me, what we do very often is we think we need a new business coaching. So we start looking for a new business coaching, whether, like, I remember, oh, maybe I need a Facebook training. I mean, who needs a Facebook training? You can Google everything about Facebook you need to know. I booked myself a Facebook training because, I mean, I'm 46. I never used Facebook before, like it just wasn't my world. And also Instagram. I barely looked at the app. So I decided to book myself an Instagram training on top of all the business coachings I've already booked. And, so we book ourselves new coachings. And then, of course, we also start blaming ourselves when we, for example, we think, okay, today I'm going to watch video 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to do all the homework. And I'm going to be so productive and on point and focused. And then at the end of the day, you might maybe have managed watching video 1 and the homework, but really not that much more because suddenly you had to do the laundry and I don't know, dust off the bookshelf or whatever, but you clearly didn't focus on what you had planned to. And that oftentimes lead to, we talk down to ourselves, we blame ourselves. And that's never motivating, let's be honest. And what also happens a lot and you get into this circle of like, oh yeah, let's buy another training. Another one of the, like, very similar to this is, oh, I just need more certifications. If I have more certifications, it's no problem for me to show up because then I feel more confident. And something that is also very common is when we use escape tactics, like whether it is Netflix or a nice bottle of rosé, or I don't know, online shopping, whatever it is for you, going for long extensive walks, which are always beautiful, but they also can kind of be an escape mechanism, so to say. So again, let me know in the comments if this is something you've tried before, you have experienced, and how it made you feel, maybe even. So here's the thing. And I'm going to be really honest with you, especially if you've tried all the things I've just listed, they won't help. They won't help you. Because here, let's be honest, if it would work, you would already be the successful coach or healer or entrepreneur you desire and deserve to be. If all these things I've listed, the business coachings, the talking down on you, the whatever, would work, you'd be successful already. So the question is, how about trying something new for a change? And that's exactly, and I want to give you a few examples because we've been talking about the fear of success. Because this is such a weird one where we like, who would have fear of success? That's exactly the reason why I started my business, because I want to be successful, because I'm passionate about it. And that's exactly what I discovered at some point, and also what I help my clients to achieve. And it's so not obvious because the fear of success oftentimes is something that kind of it's not often really associated with drama necessarily, or trauma, which is very obvious, but with the little things in life we picked up as little kids, or sometimes even in past lives. So, for example, one of my first clients, when I realized, oh my God, I have a fear of success, I released it and I started working on that. One of my first clients, my program spoke to, was Dia. And Dia, she's also a hypnotist, and she works with women who are trying to conceive. And she's also using hypnosis for that. And so she was like, what is going on? I constantly procrastinate, I don't never finish. And basically everything I've just told you she was experiencing. So we put her into trance. I put her into trance. And what we realized, or what we found out in that session, is that she grew up with a very successful mother. Her mother was super successful. Her father was the stay-at-home dad. And there were tensions in the marriage, because the woman, the woman, the mother was very successful and very dominant, which is, that was just how it was. So there was a lot of tension in the marriage, and she was always very, very busy. And to top it off, her mother died quite early. I mean, not that she was still like young or a teenager, but like maybe in her like mid-20s or so, somewhat early, so that can, still uh, have lasting impressions. And the belief she formed is that success is a burden for a happy family life. And she loved her husband and she loved her kids. So she had this very strong belief, I either can be successful, but then I don't have a happy family. I don't have a good relationship with my husband, and I won't have a really good relationship with my kid because I don't have time. And she had a son she loved dearly, and she had a husband she loved dearly. So that is a contradicting belief. She wanted success on the one side, but she also wanted to have a family life. And in her reality, these two things wouldn't go together. So her subconscious mind was like, no, we got to keep you safe, so you just stay unsuccessful. And it came up with all these tactics of procrastination, reprioritization, and all these things to ensure that she's not going to be successful. So, and another story, just to show you a little bit, I have two more, just to give you a little bit of, understanding of, how this can work, how this actually can impact you, was from my client, Jenny. And Jenny also came to me because she was constantly for her, it was really the reprioritization. When she decided to do a project, she was very focused and she would work long hours and she did all the stuff. But then it was like, she told me it was like a rope around her neck, which was pulling her towards the end of the project. She just couldn't finish it, no matter what it was, whether it was she was writing a book and she had written on it for like weeks and weeks and weeks, or a new offer or whatever. But as soon as it came towards the end, suddenly there was no energy left to work on the last few chapters or the last few implementation phase of the project. But this new idea.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This new idea, it was just like, oh my God. She was really desperate because she knew how successful she could be because she did have a successful business with her husband. It wasn't her solo line business, but it was really like, she knew she was capable of success. But this was something she wanted to do her own thing. And that is something important, but that would be a different topic, a different training. But, she was like, I cannot finish anything. It drives me crazy. Even when she hired a coach to help her accountable, didn't work out. So what was the reason for her? It was a bit similar to Dia with her. It was the very successful father who never was at home, who was always very stressed and yelled a lot. They did not necessarily fight, but when he was at home a few times, the energy wasn't the best, wasn't really harmonious in the house. So she formed the belief that successful people are mean, and that successful people yell a lot. And that was also something, as a woman, you're not supposed to yell anyway. That was something she also, didn't want to be. She didn't want to be a woman or a person who yelled and was barely at home, So, and wanted to turn to like a mean person. So again, her subconscious mind was like, no, we don't want that. Success is not what we desire. So, no. You're not going to finish anything of your programs. And I also want to share my story. I have two reasons for me which blocked my success. And the one story, the one aspect was my father was fairly successful in his career, and my mother was housewife, but eventually started working. And but she was basically trained to work from light to light, so to say, as we say in Germany, from light to light. So she would get up like really early, prepare the food for everybody, always the house was always immaculate, and then she would also go and do her 8-hour shifts wherever she was working. So she was constantly working on her toes, she was constantly tired, and the money she made was, compared to what my father made, not really the same amount. So I started to believe women cannot be successful because no matter how hard they work, the results will be crappy and they will be tired all the time. So for me, success became completely undesirable because it had nothing to do what I really desired, what my soul success code is, which is in my case, like I'm a very joyous person, and when I saw that, I was like, not for me. And the other part had to do with like, I'm a healer, and I had been healers in many past or parallel lives, however you want to call it. And especially, I guess, probably from, I don't know, but in Europe, we had Inquisition for many hundreds of years, and especially women who used or benefited from her healing powers, basically from their intuition, didn't necessarily had the best time. And what many, many, many women nowadays still face is because of these experiences, because of the torture and whatever happened to us during this time, we decided to not shine our light as bright anymore, which basically means we cut off our connection to our intuition. This is why many women have a hard time connecting to their intuition oftentimes. Not all of them, of course, but some of them. And also we decide not, like, maybe we still have access to these gifts, but like, we're not going to be successful with it, or we're not going to really use it so much because, who knows? I mean, we just don't feel safe. We could be murdered, or, someone could tell on us and stuff like that. And also, what happens a lot, or what happened a lot, is like, we don't want to have money for it, not because we believe it's sacred. Of course, that can also be a belief, but because having money as a woman just wasn't safe. So this could also be a reason for, or was a reason for some of my clients and myself, that we had experiences from past lives that kept us in hiding, kept us like away from success. So that is why it is so important to really understand on a deep subconscious level what it is that keeps away the success. Let me know in the comments if any of that resonates with you, if you maybe have had, similar situations in your family. That might explain whether or why, success hasn't arrived as of yet.
It's an interesting one because I'm not sure I fully know now. I thought I knew, but I'm not sure I fully know. I do know that for decades, I don't quite finish something. And I don't think it's because something new comes along, although I do love something new because optimism. I think it's more the completion and separation from that once it's done, and then starting something new. So you have to figure out something new once you've done, right? So whereas if something new comes along and I'm 3/4 of the way through, then I'll go off on that one, There might not be another bus coming along when I'm finished my thing. And so I think there's a scarcity thing there, probably.
Well, that's the thing. And maybe even you find out in the session we will do in a little bit. But and I've experienced that over and over again. And that is the power of hypnosis. We will never, and I really truly believe in that, be able to really understand the reason for what is going on with logical reasoning. So, I mean, it sounds reasonable what you just said, Hella. It might as well be.
I know, but that's why I'm saying I'm now doubting it because I've always thought that was what but that's just my intellectual brain. That's not the intuition. Yeah.
And that is what I've experienced. I mean, like at this point in my career, I don't even have extensive pre-talks with my clients anymore because all the reasons they give you, they always turned out like, nope, it's not that.
Yeah.
Especially with this fear of success, because it's such a tricky, intricate one. I don't know if was intricate the right word even, but
Sounds good.
But thank you. But it's just such a surprising one oftentimes,
Yeah.
And I mean, what I just shared about myself, of course, there were still more elements to it because in a proper session, we dig really deep. Today we don't have the time for that, but we will look at 2 different scenes that can show us why or what is holding you back from having the success with your soul aligned business. Because what is very important to understand between being successful in the corporate world, where we basically just have to fill out a form, so to say, we don't really have to express ourselves. Like yesterday, for example, I was talking with a really old friend of mine and who's really successful in the scientific world. She, and very smart woman, very ambitious, and she has no problems talking about other people's releases, scientific releases and stuff like that in front of a big audience. No problem at all, super confident. But as soon as it comes to her own publications, she's like, So, and that's exactly what happens for us women when we have had lots of success in the corporate world. And then, want to stand up for ourselves, for our beliefs, for our desires, for our dreams, for our passion. And suddenly we have to show ourselves, And
yeah. It's an interesting one because if anybody's come across Brené Brown, who's pretty mainstream, that is very much her story of doing, being a researcher and doing all of these interviews and all of the research, and then doing a TEDx that a few hundred people should have seen and turned out to be millions, long story short. But the reason why I mention her story, because there are a lot of successful people who've undergone this, is because her fear wasn't that she was talking about herself, or that it was a fear of rejection, because as a researcher,
Yes.
she's not supposed to be vulnerable. She's supposed to be an academic. Therefore, she has a role and an image, and buying into that instead of being able to show up as who you are is academic suicide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's
and we talked about the fear of rejection in our first
we did.
in our first episode of this show, of
Yeah,
our series.
so go back and check that out if that
Yes.
resonates with you. But the other thing I wanted to raise is that the last time in week 2, we talked about the money blocks and the fact that unless you clear what we're talking about now and what you're sharing with us around, the fear of success, unless you clear that, the money blocks are going to keep coming back.
Yeah, you won't stand a chance.
Yeah, so go and check out number 2 if that resonates.
I mean, like, it's okay. Here's I think, from my personal experience, and I've talked to money manifestation coaches, to several, and they all agree with me. If you manifesting money and I'm actually one of these days post about this, actually, because if you want to really integrate the principles of money manifestation, it takes a lot of work. Work around your beliefs, work around, how to release them, how to uncover them, how to reframe them, energetic work, like all these things, all these steps. And if you have a fear of success, you won't do it. Or you maybe do it for like a couple of weeks, but then eventually stop it. And if there's one thing I've learned about manifestation, especially when it comes to something that is important to you, you put a lot of emphasis on. It takes a little longer than just like, I'm really good at manifesting all sorts of stuff. I think about something, boop, 2 hours later, it falls into my lap, So, but when it came to money or clients, that was a whole different story back then. There were so many different beliefs. Oh, someone just said something. For me, it was only my mother who was constantly working and exhausted and never happy with her life. Yeah, yet I believe in my strengths now and I can't accomplish anything.
I can accomplish anything I set my mind to with the power of hypnosis and RTT. I love this. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's the difference, is that hypnosis and RTT, and I'm going to say this for you because I know otherwise it sounds like you're trying to convince us because your way, but it is better. It just is better to, it's a bit like, you can go through psychotherapy, and I am not dissing psychotherapy, but it is uncovering every little pebble. And actually you could uncover and change things in the unconscious through hypnosis. So I'm a huge fan of this, as you know, but I wanted to say that on your behalf. And I thank you for sharing that as well, because I think it's really important to not make it sound like this is the comment here, I can accomplish anything I set my mind to through the power of hypnosis and RTT. And I think, that's a wonderful testimonial, because sometimes when we're on social media, it can sound like, oh, well, your way, of course your way is going to work because that's what you're selling. And it's not that. It's I am a deep believer in hypnosis. It's powerful, it's quick, and it cuts through to the root before you had time to give up on all of the working through the beliefs. And I'm a person who works through the beliefs. So it's not that I'm afraid of hard work. And I believe in that, but this is a different way, and it gets you there better, smarter, faster.
Yeah. And I mean, I did my RTT training. I started in March 2019. And before that, I think I started my journey on positive thinking. It must have been 2008 when my sister took me to a seminar of one of the, not co-authors, but inspirational speakers in this book, The Secret. And he was touring through Europe, and we went on one of the seminars. And so, I became aware of the power of our minds, and I, used it and implemented it, and like pretty easily. Like, for example, I remember the first thing I've tried out, I was like, focusing like I'm always on time. I have all the time in the world. I'm always on time. And I kid you not, from constantly being late, I suddenly was always on time. Pretty soon, once I started affirming this. So, I knew about it. And then in 2011 in India, I met a guru, if you want to call him that. And he gave me a really powerful meditation to integrate positive affirmation, combining it with gratitude into my daily life. And I'm a Capricorn in my rising, so I can be very disciplined and focused, and I would implement that in my daily life. And I also, again, saw benefits to it.
Sure.
Never thought about hypnosis, never ever. Then someday it fell into my lap, like the kid to the virgin, as we like to say in Germany, and the baby to the virgin. And I was blown away by the power of hypnosis. So just to make clear why it's so powerful, in hypnosis, you can identify the root cause of whatever is blocking you, whether it's success or whatever other area you have in your life, like really fast, and you will experience this soon, and then also release it. And the difference is you can release it with the root causes. And there are endless studies on that. For example, one from Stanford University who clearly have proved that while you are in trance, you can release these, deep-rooted beliefs. And that's the beauty of it, and plant new seeds of more empowering beliefs. And this will then enable you to actually take the action, to finish your projects till the end, to really see clearly what your next step is, to enjoy the process. Because let's be honest, building your soul aligned business is basically an expression of your creative being. And we are all creative beings, that's what we came here for, to experience the creative joy of who we are, and you can show up with confidence because you totally believe in yourself. And that's what also makes the business so much more fun. You actually start working with your clients because, clients are so in love with your confidence that they can't help but want to work with you. So, this is the beauty of hypnosis. So I would say, let's get to it. Are we ready for it?
Yes.
Awesome.
We are ready. We are ready.
Okay.
Please make sure you are not driving or somewhere precarious.
Yes.
You're not up a ladder putting lights on your roof or anything like that. If you're going to listen to this, pause it and do this on replay later.
Yes, please. Very important. And also, if you have the ability, the possibility, make it really comfortable, because the more comfortable you are right now for your neck in general, the deeper you can allow yourself to relax, which is always beneficial. Make sure you're warm enough. That you have something cozy to wrap you in. And maybe if you wear glasses just for now, if it's more comfortable for you, take them off. If not, then of course you can leave them on. And just mute your phone so nothing will, disturb you. And let me just take one last sip. And then let's just get ready, get comfortable, and we are now getting started. So just make yourself comfortable and roll up your eyes as if you're looking into your own. I'm sorry, that was, roll up your eyes as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. And just keep your eyeballs up. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, let go. Take another deep inhale. And just keep your eyeballs up. Exhale, release. And one last deep breath. Keep your eyeballs up. Inhale, retain your breath just for a moment. And when you exhale, close your eyelids down, but leave your eyeballs up just for a little while. So exhale, close your eyelids down while you leave your eyeballs up, and already you can feel how your eyelids get really heavy, how they feel like as if they just don't want to open anymore. And now you can just relax your eyeballs. Just let them go wherever they want to go, and already you can feel this beautiful feeling inside of your body that lets you go even deeper and deeper, and all your cares and tensions are just fading away. You're relaxing more with each sound that you hear, with each easy breath that you take, and your eyes are feeling heavier and heavier. So just allow this drifting, floating feeling to develop in your body now. Don't try to make it happen. Just allow that drifting, floating feeling to develop in you with every breath you take. And now, in your own time and in your own way, just feel yourself floating down, drifting down. So now I want you to sink your chin on your chest just a little, as if you're looking down a staircase. And don't worry if you don't see the stairs. Your mind, your brilliant mind, is already listening to me and can hear, see, feel everything I tell you. So now you're looking down these 10 steps. You're moving on to step 10 right now, as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 9 and 8, and every sound around you takes you deeper into relaxation, and you sink deeper. You're taking step 7 and 6, and as you move down, drift down, travel down to an even deeper level, you sink deeper. You're taking step 5. You're already halfway down, as each muscle, each nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 4 as you gently, calmly, easily move on over to an even deeper level. Taking step 3 and 2, just go deeper. And deeper just means you're going deeper into an awareness of yourself. Sink deeper and deeper. And now you're just taking step 1. Just sleep deeper, go deeper, drift deeper into a wonderful ocean of relaxation. And with every time I click my fingers, you just sink deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, deeper and deeper and deeper still. And you do this just wonderfully. And while you sink deeper with every breath you take, you sink deeper and deeper into the awareness of yourself. So while you think deeper, I now want you to just shake your head very gently from left to right, as if your head is a little flag. It's just waving in the wind from left to right, very gently, very easily. And with every movement of your head, you're sinking deeper and deeper and even deeper still. And you're doing such a good job with sinking deeper, drifting deeper, sinking deeper. And while you're now sound asleep, and when I say sound asleep, I'm not talking about the sleep you take at night, but a sleep of your nervous system, a way more powerful, relaxing, rejuvenating kind of sleep. And you just enjoy this transforming, rejuvenating, healing kind of sleep. And I'm a great believer that you can't fix what you don't understand. And I believe that in order to really release any success sabotaging blocks, it is very important for us to understand how, why, where, and when you acquired it. And your mind, your brilliant mind, already knows why your success is not coming as planned. And we are now going to two different scenes, all to do with the cause, the root, and the reason why your success is just not happening, why success is taking so long. So now we are going back to a scene that is to do with that same feeling, that same belief. And your mind, your brilliant mind, already knows. And as I count backwards, it will take you straight back to the cause of those success barriers, why you are not allowing yourself to be more successful. So on the count of 5, you're drifting back to a vivid, vital memory, a crucial, significant scene that is all to do with why you are blocking yourself from success. On the count of 4, you're becoming younger. On the count of 3 and 2, you're becoming smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting back, right back to a scene, place, event, and time that all has to do with why you are not as successful as you desire to be. On the count of 1, you are going back easily. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away as you go back to a significant scene right now, and you just be there now. And as I click my fingers, the scene is coming into your mind easily, effortlessly, and automatically, like a computer screen warming up. And suddenly the scene is there. And now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you're just going to answer them for yourself. And rest assured that you will remember everything. So the scene you're in right now, is it daytime or is it nighttime? Are you inside or are you outside? Are you alone or are you with someone? And how old are you in that scene? Older than 10 or younger than 10? And now the most important question. How are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What are you observing in that scene? What is being said to you? Or do you maybe hear other people talk either to you or about something you can hear that scares you or you don't understand? What is it that you are observing? And how does it make you feel? I am feeling, and I also feel, and I also feel. And from these feelings and the observations you do during that scene, the experiences of these themes. What conclusions did you draw from that? And it's very easy for you to understand how the emotions you felt as the little girl or young adult, and the experiences, the words you've heard, it's really easy for you to draw the conclusion, to really understand to what conclusion you came to. You can now really easily see and understand why this is currently blocking your success. And I also now want you to very easily understand the belief. Because of the experience in this scene, I believe that what comes up for you? And because of the experience in this scene, because of the emotions I felt in that scene, I formed the belief that success is and now as a grown-up who wants to build a successful soul-aligned business, you can now really easily see and understand how that belief is currently holding you back. So let's start releasing it. So these emotions, go back to the emotions you feel in that scene. You can now very easily identify where in your body you can feel these emotions, whether it's in your throat or in your chest or under your collarbones, or maybe in your stomach, or maybe in the area of your genitals. But you can very easily locate those emotions now. Right now, you can very easily locate the emotions that are trapped inside of you. And I now want you to imagine, because you are now connected with the powerful energy you are, that you can just transform these emotions and beam them out of your body into a blue balloon that is hovering in front of you. And you take all your focus and determination and the intention to release these emotions, and you beam them out into the blue balloon. And you can very clearly see with your inside eyes how the balloon is growing and getting bigger while you are beaming out all these heavy emotions that you have experienced in that scene. And while the balloon is getting bigger and bigger, you are feeling lighter and lighter, because you are now releasing with every breath you take, with the sheer power of who you are, with the determination and the intention, you are now releasing this stuck emotion. And I'm going to give you a few more moments to make sure that you are releasing all of these stuck emotions. So now that you have released all these emotions into this balloon, I now want you to release the balloon, release as if you were holding on to it. Now release the balloon, and you can see how the balloon is now flying off into the universe, where it's being transcended into positive energy again. And you just released yourself from these stuck emotion in the most harmonious, peaceful way. And knowing the beliefs you formed, rest assured you will remember that, so that you can use that later on to release these beliefs as well. And while you let the sea now go, and just let it go, and you just sink deeper, drift deeper, we are now going to a second scene. A second scene which will very clearly show you the most significant reason of why you are blocking your success. So on the count of 5, you're drifting back to a vivid, vital memory, a crucial, significant scene that is all to do with why you decided to block your success. On the count of 4, you're becoming younger. On the count of 3 and 2, you're becoming smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting back. Right back to the most significant scene, the first place, the most crucial event and time that all has to do with why you decided to not be successful, where you decided to block success. And on the count of 1, you're going back easily. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away as you go back to a significant scene. Just be there. And as I click my fingers, the scene is coming to your mind so easily and effortlessly. And the scene is now there. And the scene you're in right now, is it daytime or is it nighttime? Take a look around. Are you inside or are you outside? Are you alone or are you with someone? And how old are you in that scene? And what are you doing? And now the most important question, how are you feeling? I am feeling, and I'm also feeling, and I'm also feeling, and I'm also feeling. And what is happening in this scene? What are you observing? Is someone doing something to you or with you you don't enjoy? Do you maybe observe others talking? What kind of behaviors do you observe with yourself maybe, or with others? And now, really very important, you have all these feelings and you see these behaviors of what is happening, what is going on in that scene. So now I want you to very easily understand, what was the conclusion you came up to? What is the belief you formed because of that scene? The experience of that scene caused me to believe that because of what I experienced in that scene, I formed the belief that success is and remember, and just rest assured that you will remember this belief until you come back to your conscious state of mind. And now again, I want you to go back to these emotions you felt during that scene. And you can very clearly now feel them, locate them inside your body. And it's now again very important for us to release those emotions. So again, locate the area in your body where these emotions are stored, where have they've been blocking your natural flow of energy, your capability to actually release those beliefs and to release those emotions so that you can have success. And again, you now see a balloon, a blue balloon right in front of you. And you now form the intention in your powerful mind that you are now ready to release those stuck emotions. That this is your intention, and all with your all your power and all your mighty, and with this powerful intention, this powerful decision of yours, you are now beaming all these stuck emotions that are stuck in your cells out of your system, out of your body, out of all your cells, into this beautiful blue balloon who so willingly takes all these stuck emotions in. And you do that with ease because you've decided, because you are just so powerful that this decision of yours lets these emotions that have been stuck within you for so many years just release and go over into the balloon. And while you see how the balloon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you feel lighter and lighter and lighter. And I'm just going to give you a few more moments so that you can really release with your powerful intention, your powerful decision of releasing yourself from these emotions into the balloon. And just let them all go. And now that you have released all these emotions, and they are now all stored safely in this blue balloon, you just release the balloon and you can see the balloon flying off into the universe, where all these emotions are being transferred into positive, high vibe emotions again. And you feel so much lighter right now. You feel like as if a really heavy burden has been taken off you. And I want you to, as best to the best to your capabilities, take a deep breath in through your nose, really slowly and deep. And just while you breathe in, connect with the center of the earth, and you can vividly imagine how you are connected with the center of the earth. And just inhale this pure frequency of abundance, this pure frequency of thriving, of fulfillment from the center of the earth. And while you inhale this beautiful frequency of the center of the earth rushes right into your body, connected, because you are part of this cosmic play we are all part of. And you can easily draw these beautiful frequencies into your body, into all your cells, to help you heal, to help you cleanse. And with every breath you take, you inhale, allow yourself to take in even more and more of these beautiful, pure frequencies from the center of the earth. And with your next breath out, you feel completely refreshed, ready to come back to full consciousness. And on the next breath out, you feel energized and motivated. You can feel how life is spreading through you, how every cell of your body is celebrating the new lightness you feel. And you become more energized with every breath you take. And when you are ready, in your own time, on your next exhale, just open your eyes and be fully conscious again. And whenever you're ready, just come back to full consciousness, feeling excited, motivated, and so much lighter. So, I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys got a good understanding of what is currently keeping you from being super successful. Heather, do you maybe want to share a little bit about your experience? You seem to be very much relaxed.
Yeah. I feel like I've had a really good night's sleep.
Yes. Yeah,
uh,
that's another benefit of hypnosis. It's so rejuvenating. It's unbelievable. I have to unfortunately unplug my headphones. I hope you can still hear me okay.
yeah, we can hear you fine.
Hold on, I need to now. How can I not? Can you say something, Heather?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Why can I not?
It might take a second. Might take a second
How
to adjust.
Do I have to have?
No, you don't have to have headphones. It just might take a second to adjust,
But
though.
I can barely hear you.
Oh,
How
maybe
do
it's
I
me.
how do I do the, because I need to charge my phone. How do I do it on speaker? I wonder.
It should just come up when you take your headphones out. It should just come up. That's what mine does.
Well, it just has
Well,
to work like that now.
I'll just talk.
Yes.
I at first was trying very hard to control it to one memory, and it wouldn't. It wouldn't do it. It kept sort of jumping around to different situations, and I was really distracted by it. But I let it go, and what I found is that there's a pattern across across that childhood time of my life, around 10 years old to probably up to about 12 years old, where I was in so many activities and they all had the same result, which just makes so much sense that, how could I excel at any one of them when I was doing too many things. um, and that and so I started to feel like I was always falling behind in each thing. And that it, I felt a lot of disapproval. I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of smiling and saying, it doesn't matter. I didn't want to succeed in any one of these things anyway. And so I learned that facade of, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to try, or I don't really need to. So I for example, I was a figure skater for most of my childhood, and I would go into competitions, but I hadn't really prepared anything, so I would freestyle, and which is interesting because I now freestyle in cabaret and burlesque, but then I just wasn't mature enough or ready to do it, and of course in a competition you're against people who have actually prepared, but I didn't do those things because it would sabotage it, so that it would give me a reason why I wasn't successful or why I didn't do well. And it wasn't even really about winning, because I've never really been about winning, but it was kind of a, oh well, that's why I didn't do well, because I didn't really even try. And so there was, it was those pattern, and that's why I couldn't settle on one memory. And you kept saying, that one scene, and I was going, but there's so many, and it's a movie,
Mhm.
and they all had the
Mhm.
same thing in common.
But may I ask you a question now, Heather?
Yeah.
Can you see that pattern, this reality repeating itself in your current life
Oh,
as well?
completely. Oh, completely.
Mhm.
Completely. Less so now with Confidence Through Cabaret, but certainly with a lot of other things. And in fact, almost that I didn't want to do, some of the cabaret and aerial stuff. It was like, oh yeah, but if I don't really try, if I mess around, then I didn't
Yeah,
really want to do it. So I can hear it in my adulthood for sure.
yeah. And that's exactly, when we would have a one-on-one session, we could have, dig deeper into, so why did you do all these different things? Why would you not settle on one thing? But of course, since we didn't do the one-on-one, we really, because there's a reason. I mean, yes, of course, we have lots of different interests. That is kind of like the obvious answer. But
And the answer is
um,
simply that my mom registered me for them all. So there was a period of forgiveness in that trance as well, of kind of like, but it was meant to try lots of different things. And here's the killer, I did the same thing with my children.
you what?
I
Sorry?
did the same thing with my children. They did
Ah.
everything. And
Mhm.
there wasn't a point. I was aware that they were doing too many things, but they wanted to do them all. And I don't know now whether they really did want to do them all, or whether they wanted to please me.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting conversation.
Yes.
But if at any time they'd have said I don't want to do this, or if they'd have said I want to do more of this other thing, I would have instantly been happy with that. But I don't. I think I felt like, but they might miss out on something if they don't try everything, you know. And that's because that's what happened for me in my childhood. And the difference was I didn't succeed at any one of them.
Yeah. Uh, It would be interesting to dig a little deeper.
Yeah,
I could totally see that, to really get, because the really deep root cause often comes when we even go to a
sure.
third scene, sometimes even a fourth. And of course, with the questions, I would then ask you to guide you through the memory and stuff.
It
But
was very real emotion though. Like I could have cried.
yes. Yeah. I mean, crying is basically
Mm,
a big part of hypnotherapy. Not
yeah.
to scare anyone off, but every tear we cry is basically releasing emotions. But were you also able to locate the emotions and then release
Oh yeah.
them?
Yeah, very much,
Beautiful.
very much. And they were all
Beautiful.
over. They were all over. There's very much in my chest and in my stomach, and also in my cheeks. I mean, it was all over. And I had to keep
Mhm.
sort of doing a quick body scan to kind of go, oh, there's some more here. Send that up to the balloon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's
Beautiful. Thanks
beautiful.
for sharing, Heather. That is so powerful, that the experience you've just had, and so courageous to share it with us. So thank you so much for that.
I would love it if anybody else, when you're watching this, if you want to share your experience, either connect directly, or share it in the comments for others as well. I do have a question. If somebody
Mhm.
watches this again and again, would we go to the same sort of place, or would it take us to different? Yeah, I thought so.
It depends. So what I have learned is, why is it not doing the, okay. It depends. So what I
Okay.
have experienced is when the situation, if you have not understood the real root cause, the real, how I ask you, like, to what conclusion did you come?
Yeah.
And if we have, like, so for example, I had clients who tell me, like, oh yeah, I've seen that scene so many times already. But they didn't get the conclusion. They didn't really understand what the scene was telling them.
Yeah.
And I believe as long as you don't really understand what the scene is really telling you, then you might come back to it over and over again.
Okay.
Or maybe there's still more to uncover in that scene.
Oh, there's more
But
to uncover in my scene. I
yeah,
promise you.
so but of course it's quite possible that you will discover or see many different kind of scenes as well.
Hmm.
The question is, like always in the end, what belief did you form because of that, and then now use that information to really reframe that belief, to really let it go. Of course, with hypnosis, that would be a very quick undertaking. But yeah, I mean, you can also there are logical prospects of it,
Yeah.
ways to
Yeah.
do that on a logical plane.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That does
Yeah.
make a lot of sense. I and this is a good time for me, at least. This is a good time for some journaling, like just to
Yeah, for
um
sure. That's for sure something I recommend, that you take your journal and write down the beliefs and maybe even the scene, whatever you remember, so that you can then really work on those beliefs.
mhm. Can I
Mhm.
share one from Facebook?
Sure, please.
So, same scenes came up with my mother and seeing her so unhappy and always working quite a lot. Also, my grandmother popped up at the same time, constantly working for other people without thinking about herself. And also, my aunt, and actually women in general, worked quite a lot for their husbands, their kids, and they worked more than the men in my life back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't want to work the way they did, and I perceived when I was little, this is my conclusion so far.
And also for me, because I remember I had a very similar experience, that maybe it's also success is not available for women, or that they have to work really hard,
Yeah.
and then they work really hard, but then like, I mean, I don't know if this is, so if that makes sense for you, whoever wrote that, is, when your goal in your life is to be happy, for example, but you are, in your reality, you grew up witnessing that working hard, working a lot means unhappy, because when we are little kids, that is the only conclusion we are capable of.
Right.
Working hard, working a lot, unhappy. All women I see, same pattern: working hard, working a lot, unhappy. Okay, but I want to be happy. That's for me very important. So there's also this kind of like contradicting belief, that when we work hard, we will be unhappy. So it can be quite possible that even when you work hard or when you work a lot, you don't really get anywhere. You're not really moving forward. You're not really making the progress necessarily. It can be, it doesn't have to be like that. And that it doesn't make you happy, because you
Yeah.
pick work that doesn't make you happy. And
So, can
this
I
could
ask a question
actually,
here?
let
Sorry.
me, if I may say this, and this could actually end up with, when we have this belief that women have to work hard and a lot, and they are unhappy, that we then tend to do work, that is draining us. So what that means is, especially when it comes to building a business, because I had these beliefs, I spent weeks and months doing stuff I hated and that didn't do anything for my business, such as building my homepage. Oh my God. How much time and money I didn't waste. It's not a waste. I've learned something from it. But how much time I spent on my homepage, how much time I spent on probably 12 different freebies. Like, I spent so much time on so many things that didn't generate any income instead of doing the thing that mattered most. Because I had the belief women have to work hard all day long, not getting anything from it and being unhappy while doing it. So that is why it's so important to really, and this is what we can discover in one-on-one, to really the underlying belief, what conclusions and how does it display in your everyday life now.
Yeah. Hi, Zaina is just joining us. You're going to want to watch the replay of this for sure and go back through the trance exercise. I wanted to ask a question about, because when I hear this about this scene and the pattern of, women work, this is the same one, women working, seeing them being unhappy, working hard, being unhappy, and and it's repeating itself every time you see women. How much of it is based around our values? So, for example, is another way to interpret that not so much it is on what we've seen, but it's more about, I don't want to do that because I have rights to do something different. Because I'm asking that because I would say that my mother in her parenting days wouldn't have had the same choices that I had in my parenting days. And so I wonder if some of that, okay, let me give you an example that's really simple. So you grow up with a mother who is obsessively clean in the house. To me, you're going to go one of two ways. You're either going to go also obsessively cleaning in your house, or a complete slob and you just don't care about it because that obsession just seemed over the top. So I guess what I'm asking is there a part of us that's maybe nature, or maybe it's generational, that we would say, no, I'm not working hard because I watched these women work hard and get nowhere. Like, I am not doing, almost like an obstacle.
Thank you for asking. This is such a powerful question, because this is exactly what I did. I was like, I saw my mom working hard all day long, and for me, I was all about joy. Again, now that I understand my soul's success code, it makes even more sense than before. For me, it was like expressing myself. I don't know if you've seen any of my Instagram pictures, but I always like to make funny faces and be a little bit humorous and stuff. For me, it was always about enjoying life, expressing myself, like, oh my God, life is the best. And my mom is like, no, you have to clean the bathroom. No, I mean, I was a little kid and I had to clean the floors of our cellar like once a week, like, who does that? Kind of like. So for my mom, it was always very important, and still is. And this is fine. This is how she was raised, to be really, really clean. And and I came to the conclusion, if this is the life of a woman, if this is what I can expect from being a grown-up, I don't want this. So for me, this was a reason to completely shut down. I was one of the worst in school. Like, I was no straight A student, because I was like, no, I'm not doing that shit. It's not worth it anyway. But look at my mom. I mean, I wasn't conscious about that when I was young, not at all. Basically, that was a pattern that repeated itself continuously. But then on the other side, and this is really important to understand, on the one side, I really blocked off this whole, going after what I dreamed, pursuing my passions, enjoying life. There was still like this happy facade. But the reality we grow up in has shaped and formed us so deeply that just because we say it out loud 3 times, I'm not never going to be like my mom, doesn't mean we're not going to end up like her. I'm a very clean person, you know? Like my apartment is always, you know, I don't want to say immaculate, but pretty clean. I mean, when when my mother comes to visit, she will notice everything, but in my mind, in my book, it's pretty clean. So basically, what is I turned this
A
totally
few years ago,
around.
I turned this around after a period of anxiety and panic attacks. Now I'm not eager to clean my house anymore. My husband is doing it. I mean, fair play. Your husband is doing it
Yeah,
now. I love that.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. That's awesome. Good for you and good for your husband.
Yeah, yeah. But the
So,
comment the comment
if I
before
hope
is
I was
about
able to,
being a compulsive obsessive disorder, cleaning every time and everywhere. Just sounds a lot like what the expectations were that you grew up in.
yeah. I mean, and also, of course, having being in a clean environment, especially my mom, she was born in 47 in a war-destructed country. You know, having a clean room gives safety, you know, like
Yeah,
these kind of obsessive behaviors, they also give us a form of safety we do not get in the outside world, whether it's because I don't know, whatever kind of parents we grow up with, you know, or the environment we grow up with, you know, there wasn't food, there wasn't, you know, so and if we keep our space clean, this is where we have control over, so that is also can also be very much a reason for this obsessive cleaning behavior, you know. So again, it really is depending, like just because we grow up with a clean mom and then don't turn out to be clean doesn't necessarily mean we were able to avoid certain realities, certain beliefs we picked up because we might not even be aware of it. I wasn't aware of the belief that women cannot be successful until I did a hypnosis about it.
yeah, yeah. And I suppose there's also that filter of, you could have several siblings and each internalize it through their own way, you know.
Hmm.
So you could have a different understanding. I have several Irish friends who are one of 12, and when they start talking, they'll say, "Did we even have the same family? That I don't. That's not how I remember it at all." It's an
Yeah,
interesting way about how we
absolutely.
internalize it ourselves, which is
I
where my
have two
question was
older.
coming from.
I
Hmm.
have two. I'm sorry. What?
I said that's where my question was coming from. Was how much of it
Yeah.
is that the way that we internalize it or filter that?
Yeah, like I have two older sisters, and they grew up, each of them, each one, yeah, do I say each of them grew up in a different reality than I. And so, for example, my oldest sister, she's also always very, so she was one of these women like, yeah, you know, I mean, it has to be cozy in my home, it's somewhat clean, but not obsessively clean. I rather do things for, you know, maybe myself or my kids. But then on the other side, when she would work, whether it was like in the garden or in her house or in her job or whatever, she was obsessively diving into the work, you know, and always had to be extra hard for her. So this element of being a woman and having it hard was present, you know, maybe differently, but it was present.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I love this. I love this. If you want to continue the work, get in touch with Catherine and spend some time. The offer is still there to have a call and find out, about the kind of work that would benefit you and how your connection feels, and you can continue the work from there, or do
Yes,
something totally
and
different. Who knows?
absolutely. I mean, my clear method is now, because I realized when I did my yearly reflection, actually, I realized that, you know, clients come to me for different reasons. I work with clients who are just at the beginning of their business. I work with clients who already had successful 5-figure launches, but were stuck on a certain income plateau. So, I have had a full range of different clients with whom I've worked with and helped to reach the next level in their business. And that is why I realized I need to be more flexible with my clear method, because it's so powerful, but not everybody needs the full business strategy package again, or whatever. So we can offer, so now I'm offering 2 months, 4 months, or 6 months package depending on the needs. And also, and I already told you, Heather, about this, if you come from this group, from this live, from this series, and use the code Cabaret, you even get a special deal.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And thank you for offering that. Thank you
Yes,
for
of
offering that.
course.
Some interesting comments in the comments. So do go back and have a look. Just very interesting stuff. And we could be here all day.
Yes.
But I just wanted to point out the context thing. So there's a comment here about, it's a distraction to go inside and deal with your inner upcoming feelings. You think subconsciously, if anything is clean outside, then I'm content and everything's okay. Yet it isn't, because I discovered that my car is a mess all the time, and it's it was my only place where I had allowed that to be myself. And it's interesting because you might think I'm successful, like I'm okay here, and I'm where I want to be. And maybe something comes up over the holidays, and you sort of set your business plans, or you set your goals higher, or you want to be successful in other areas of your life. I mean, we talk about this a lot at Confidence Through Cabaret, where you might have confidence in your personal life, but not so much in your work life, or you might feel great in your work life and your personal life, but not so much on your stage life, and for example, on social media and things. So it's a matter of where do you want that to show up. And we haven't defined success in this session, right? It's wherever it serves you. So I just want to point that out, because if you're talking about, which package and so on, then you can discuss that according to what it is that you need. It doesn't have to be that you want to make more money.
And that's also something actually that I realized, because we are so conditioned, and I'm not going to say the word, but we are so conditioned to believe that everyone wants to have the lots of money and the bling and the big cars and the designer handbags. And don't get me wrong, I have a designer handbag, and I love fashion and all that, no question. But once I actually did a session on what success actually means to me, to my soul, and when I learned to integrate this into my life and into my business, not only did become all the work so much more easy, so much more fun, but also success suddenly started flowing. And that's exactly what you mean. We think we want the big money, we think we want the big cars or whatever, and maybe that is true for you. I'm not saying that this is never true, but oftentimes our soul actually really is starving for something else. And as long as we neglect that part, as long as we don't let this part happen in our life, we might be successful, but we most likely won't have a really nice life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Spend some time journaling and have a think about what success means to you. I think that's where I'm going to start.
Yes. What is it that really lights you up, that brings joy to your soul, that makes your heart skip a beat, I like to say, and especially remember back when you were a little kid, what was it that you were with which you easily could spend hours and hours, what you just enjoyed so much. And just get yourself in a meditative state, think about it, let memory arise, and then write it down and integrate these things into your daily life.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Yes. And again, if you want to find out more about the clear method, if you feel like you just want to have a mindset strategy session with me to really check out what is going on, send me a DM, reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook or on Instagram, both under Katrin Niesel, and the contacts, I think, I'm in the group, so you can just easily either comment below or just send me a DM, and don't be a stranger. Nothing's gonna happen, and let's have a chat and find out, and let's make 2022 the most successful year of your soul aligned business.
Amazing. Thank you. I just want to spell that, because if you're listening to this on podcast, because we're going to put all 3 of the episodes up on the podcast, then Katrin is Katrin, and then Niesel is Niesel. So if you're listening on podcast, then jump onto Facebook, or jump onto Instagram and send us a direct DM, or you can put a comment into the show notes, and I'll pass your message along and connect you.
Thank you so much. I had such a blast. And whenever you need, someone else to have lives with, just reach out to me. I always love to do lives.
Thank you for this series. It has been a beautiful way to end and bring us right up to the holidays, and just open our hearts for what is possible. So I deeply appreciate you. Thank you.
I thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Right, everyone, if you're signing off for the holidays, then have a wonderful time over the holidays. Yes, I know, we're like waving at you. And on behalf of Katrin and I am reminding you that it is your body, and it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space and play. Have some fun over the holidays. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Bye.